Okay, and we are live. So I am
Mhm.
really excited today. We have Jason from Jumblepad here. Um, he's got something really cool that a lot of people have not really understood what it is. But before we get into what Jumblepad is, Jason, what can you just give us a quick introduction of like who you are and how you got into like the teaching industry, I guess?
All right. I'm Jason Boyce, and 27, I guess. And I got into teaching a while back because I've always been interested in education and developing curriculum to a certain extent, especially in school. I would always find it interesting how teachers would go about lessons, and I would try to recreate my own ways to understand content and lesson material a bit more easily so I wouldn't have to study as hard as the other learners, kind of a way for me to cheat the system, kind of.
Yeah.
Most of my family members are also teachers. My mom's a teacher, my aunt's a teacher, my other aunt's a teacher. So we're basically a family of teachers on my mom's side. I studied in the Netherlands and I got into English teaching for vocational training and secondary education. But then I followed a minor didactic in it's kind of like a specialization that you would do in university in the Netherlands in digital education. And that's when I really noticed that wow, there are a lot of programs you could use to kind of make teaching a bit more efficient. However, I had noticed that the platforms that I was using, all the platforms that were being used by my colleagues they weren't efficient, they weren't quick and easy to use. So that's how I started kind of designing my own platform. And I thought, well, if I can make my own, then surely I should be, if I see room for improvement, surely I'll be able to make my own. So I started looking around and I bought a few books, got into user experience and user design, and then also started talking to engineers and software developers. And I really just got interested in the whole field of ed tech because there's so much you can learn from it, but there are also a lot of things you can do that people are not familiar with. So that's how I got interested in ed tech and developing curriculum management systems.
So what is Jumblepad exactly? What does it do? Who would want to use it? What is it for?
So Jumblepad is a simple instructional design tool that you could use to create your own content. And think of it as a way for you to facilitate your teaching. So you wouldn't have to email your learners anymore. You wouldn't have to send them websites that aren't your own, but you can actually create authentic material, which is yours, and get all the benefits from it. So you basically get your own environment as a teacher, and you do not need to use any other host servers or any other host platforms to get your work to the learners. So if you would, for example, have your own course, but it's all paper based, you could use Jumblepad to make it digital. And by creating this, you also have a quicker access in the system that kind of most of the time checks the assignments for you. Think of multiple choice questions, matching exercises, but you also get to see the learners developing at a glance. So in that sense, you wouldn't have to go back and forth through all the files because you have clearly differentiated all the different tasks that you've got. When I start sharing my screen, I'll show you a bit more of the system. But it's basically a curriculum builder application that you could use to get your courses online rapidly.
Okay. So these are for live courses or like evergreen courses either way, or
Yeah, so you could use it for live courses, but you could also use it for short courses or long-term courses that are paced over, say, a month, 2 months, 3 months. So they don't always have to be live, but your material is always live, and you basically become your own publisher. And by doing so, you kind of get the opportunity to really function at a higher level than what you would usually be doing when you'd be using emails and continually sending all the material to your learners. And it also reduces spam.
okay. How is this different from like Canva? I had actually seen that question asked before too. How is this different from Canva?
So if you would compare Canva to Jumblepad, you would have to think, well, first of all, we are a startup, so we are definitely developing, but we are trying to get into immersive education. So we're really trying to focus on the kinesthetic side and really catering to minimal didactics and allowing teachers to really implement didactics into their own curriculum by using the different styles of learning. So you've got visual, auditory, and it's supposed to help both the teacher and the learners with their organization. So everything is in one place instead of having to go to the different pages all the time.
So you could go through and like say you made like all of your like, say you have your own levels that you're creating. You have like all your level ones. All your level ones would be there. All your level twos. All your like let's see it. I want to see what this looks like.
Okay, so I hope that I'm able to share my screen with you, because I don't, for some reason the button is not clicking. Suddenly it's not working. Let me just, okay. I'll share screen and then can you see my screen?
Nope, it should pop up here as a, oh, there we go. Okay, hold on.
Yes, okay.
Yep, there we go.
Whoa.
Woo!
I'm seeing a matrix. I don't know if that's supposed to be.
It's us in.
Okay, so if I leave, then it will change.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go to the home page. So you, as a teacher, you basically get three things to see. You immediately see your calendar and you see the deadlines, submissions that have to be submitted. You get your groups, and then you get the modules that you've created. Now, because you're functioning as your own publisher, most of the modules will be they're called base modules. So if you've got your base module here, all you need to do is share it with a specific group. So I've got these two groups, group 1 and group 2, and I basically decide, okay, so this is maybe my lower level group, this is my group for the higher level learners, and therefore I can also for myself differentiate. Now, so I'll show you what it looks like for the groups first, and then I'll show you how to make your own, whoops, let me just close this. So this is group 1. In my group, I can upload. Can you still hear me? Because I can't hear you anymore.
Yeah, I just put myself on mute because my kids.
Oh, okay. All right. So you've got your participants. You can immediately see who's in your group, all the learners that you've added. You've got the modules that you've shared with the group. And on the right side, you can see the deadlines that you've set up. And if you, for example, want to add some extra material for them, you can upload these here. And everything's basically, you can see all the material in one glance. So let's take a look at this module that I created, and I kind of differentiated it for the learners, but we're not going to biology. Now I can show you biology because that's where I show you the immersive part that we're working on, the virtual reality part to our system. So say I have an English course and I've divided it, and you basically, it looks like an interactive book. So you also get a content table that looks like a book. What do you call that?
Table of contents.
Yeah, so you've got a table of contents, and then on this side, you've got the instruction side, and on the right side, you've got your tasks. So when you look at the different types of styles that you can use, you can implement, you can integrate videos, you can also add your own audio, you can add your PowerPoint presentations or your PDF files, and all of them occur in a very small table, so the learner wouldn't have to download anything. You can also include all the sources you've used, the hyperlinks that you've included. And the thing about Jumblepad is it works in real time. So if I would see a language mistake, a language error that I had, I would be able to change it, and it immediately changes for the learner as well. And you can easily switch between the different contents and get to work, and also give learners feedback on the content that they've made. Now, for the teacher side of the platform, you've got the curriculum builder, and the learners have another platform, but it's the same website, but they see something completely different as what you would see. They only see the book that you've created for them, and they work inside of that book, and they can also see everything at a glance without having to click back and forth, and having to download anything, because all the content is on one page for them. So this is one of my base modules, and you can preview it, but you can also edit it. So as we were talking about the English, let's look at English because that's more of the ESOL kind of EFL teaching training. You, as a trainer, you get the opportunity to create 5 types of instructions. You can add subjects. So if you would like to introduce a topic, say, oh, I want to introduce the present simple, I'll quickly write a description. You can use text, and that's basically a very small integrated, it kind of looks like Word, like a Word file that you could use to make your assignments look a bit more, well, let's say creative, and you can bold certain words, you can hyperlink, and you can also underline or make or certain put. I speak 4 languages, and sometimes all of them want to come out at the same time. So you can also make them, for example, italic. Now, once you've done all of this, you can also start working on the tasks for your learners. And at the moment, we have 6 different types of tasks that you could create for your learners. We're continually working with clients and partners. So if you would like to have a new task widget created, Jumblepad allows that. So you could suggest certain tasks that could be made. So we've got open form. We've got multiple choice questions that are checked by the computer. You've got messages, so you can, for example, ask them to type an email or a letter, and they already get a preset format. They can also upload their own documents, and when you ask the learners to upload, they can basically upload PDFs, they can upload audio fragments, they can upload, and we're kind of waiting to see videos as well. Once we have a bigger database, will allow learners to upload their own videos as well. So you could also do assessments for speaking or listening. Then you've got the artificial experience. That's what we're currently working on to make the platform one of the most immersive at the moment. And then you've got the word link. And the word link basically allows you to do many different types of activities. So we're trying to make the system as flexible as possible to cater to both the teacher's needs with regards to the different types of activities that you'd like to do with your learners, but also for the learners, for them to have a very nice and easy to use system that is not very complex.
That is really cool. So that is actually completely different from Canva.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not.
I'm doing the work.
You're doing the work?
Yeah.
Are you? Okay. Do you have anything to ask him?
I think I'll yell.
You think you'll yell at him?
You like this?
I'm gonna do this.
I didn't know you were gonna do this.
Yeah.
Here, do you want this ring light? Yeah. Here, why don't you go?
Yeah.
Yeah. Here, I can do it. Here, why don't you go have a class in the living room? You want to go have a class in the living room? Actually, I don't know how to fix this ring light. I don't know how to do this. I was going to give you this ring light, but I don't know how to do it. You have both of these. Here you go.
No, I think.
No. Here, you know what? Tell you what. You got my microphone? Yeah, why don't you go in the living room with that, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Like, you're welcome. I don't ever let her play with that. It's like a podcast microphone. All right. That is really cool. So in this, and anybody that's coming in here live or watching the replay, if you have any questions, just pop them in the chat or pop them in the comment section. But is this integrated with a billing system for students, or do you do that separately?
So the billing system that we're working on, because the platform is still free to use, we're working on a billing system for both the teachers and for us if we would want to. But the billing system would be separate at this moment. But for your learners to get onto your platform, they wouldn't have to buy any program from Jumblepad at all. So you could ask them to create an account, but then you would have to do the billing on your own. But that is something that we're working on for the future, because that would facilitate your organization as well.
Did you just say this is free to use?
At the moment, it's free to use, yes.
For teachers as well?
For the teachers as well.
What? Okay, I didn't know about that. That is insane. Okay, and wow, that's crazy. All right, so the teachers can get their students on there. Are you planning on having it be something that's like more private, where it's only teachers with their students, or is it going to be something more like teachable, where people can search for courses and join courses? Like, what are your plans with that?
So this is version 2.0 of Jumblepad. And in version 3.0, we're going to create a teachers marketplace where teachers can advertise their lesson material. They can also sell their lesson material. Learners can join courses and buy certain modules from teachers. And we're basically going to be working with a new encryption method that we're currently developing called It Was Written By. So if a teacher would want to use your modules, you wouldn't have to worry about them stealing, say, your copyrights. So we would automatically copyright all the material that is uploaded to Jumblepad. But the copyright itself is yours. So we do not get any credit for anything that has been developed. So in Jumblepad 3.0, we're going to launch a marketplace for teachers where you can advertise your own, your modules, and you basically get some recognition for it as well, and hopefully an extra income. And when we're currently working on the design for the third version of our platform. However, we're kind of waiting before we launch because that would obviously require more data. So once we get more teachers on this, we'll launch the platform, because then it will be beneficial for both. It has to benefit us as well and the trainers, but we won't be getting any finances from the modules that you sell.
So what I would say, the majority of people watching this are live teachers. I would say the majority of my subscribers and the people in the group and the people that follow me are live teachers. But this would be really good for live teachers because they could supplement their lessons. So say when a teacher had, and I'm sure you're familiar with like VIP Kid and Palefish and them, right? So like right, are you familiar with those courses? Like,
yes, I am.
Okay. So like what they would do is they would have their live lesson with the teachers, and then afterwards they usually get homework that we never really ever saw anything about. This would be great for the in-between classes. If the student's taking a once a week class, then they can have like their supplemental lesson here, or their lesson that kind of goes along with it with their homework that you could assign to them. And then especially if you were doing like group classes, it'd be really beneficial because you'd be able to do that and be able to actually view their work better than you can with the group classes. And I'm sorry, I'm just getting excited here because I'm thinking like how I would use this as a live teacher.
No, that's good.
It's not something I would particularly screen share and like use in the lesson, but after the lesson, I would, it's something that you could be like, okay, go check out this, and then you can review their homework, and you can use it like that. And then it really lets you see how your students are doing more so than the live classes. Like for me, I'm an English teacher and I primarily teach writing classes. I do reading and spoken too, but most of my classes are writing classes. Now the kids will have their background on Zoom and they'll hold their stuff up and they'll be like, teacher. Okay, go ahead, go build it. Go. You want to build? Okay, here you go. All right, so there you go. So like you put it on my cheek. A lot of times like you were really I'm not putting it in my butt. You go away. Goodbye. You're not allowed anywhere near me when I do YouTube. But like when they send me their work afterwards, I'm able to actually go through and say, okay, like you use your story is in past tense, but here you're using present tense and you want to make sure they match up, or this is the correct spelling of there, or like really like get down into the nitty-gritty to help them excel as a student. So this is something where you would be able to do the same thing. You could even just create like quizzes, right?
Yeah.
Like going off of today's lesson, here's a quiz. I want you to take the quiz, see what you remember, see if you can get it right. That is really, really cool. I like this.
And I mean, so besides the fact that you could use it for extra support, I've used Jumblepad. I mean, of course I've used it, but I've used Jumblepad for live lessons as well, where the learners would be on their own screen. They would have their own screen while I'm working, and I'm tell them, okay, so do assignment 1, and then we'll check it together. And the thing is, say if you were working with other trainers as well, you could add them to your school account. So you can have a school account where you're all on the same platform as well. So if you can manage people's groups, you can take a look at their work. So if you would have people working for you, you could make sure the quality. You could assess the quality of the work and the quality of the learners' work as well. So
if somebody like say like myself and a group of friends that all have the same like ideal student, that all have the same kind of thing going on, we were like, okay, let's all do this together. We could join forces in some way so that like maybe like I'm designing the curriculum for like this level and somebody else is designing for this level, or somebody's doing the quizzes, somebody's doing the PDF, somebody's doing the videos or the audio or something. Like you could do it like that.
Try
Yeah.
it.
You could all work. You could all work
Cool.
using the school account, and this. It's called the school account because we didn't have another name for it. Maybe we can call it a collaborative account. But yeah, you could possibly do that where one person manages the groups, one person manages the calendar, the other person looks at the course material, the other one does error corrections, or one uploads videos and PDFs. So that's definitely all around, because the system is quite flexible, and that's the whole point of it, is that it's supposed to be, you don't have to be tech savvy to use Jumblepad, because it's quite straightforward, So that's the whole idea. So if you wanted to, say, assess a learner's work, you could just buy, let's say, a present simple, okay? And then you decide which module they should take it from, which focus group they need to take it out of, which chapter, let's say the present simple, when is it due, tomorrow. Wait, go back. I've got a magic mouse, so it doesn't always do what I want. Oh, this thing is blocking here. Okay, time, let's say 2:30, and then you upload it. And if you click on the assignment itself, you can see who has submitted and who hasn't submitted yet. And if a learner would have submitted, you would see the date that they submitted, if you have reviewed it, and what the actions are. So do I need to send it back to them, or do I need to recheck it? Do I need to evaluate? But you can also edit the assignments that you've given to them. So here I've given the learner some homework. And I'll go to the learner's platform, but let me just show you one thing before I go. Because you're your own publisher, you can work on chapters simultaneously, but you decide which ones are published. So in this one, I've published the present simple, but I haven't published the past simple. So here the learner is in the module, and I've done my homework, as you can see. And if I click, I don't see the past simple yet because the teacher hasn't published it. But if the teacher decides on publishing chapter 2 as well, let's say I'll publish it. Now it should have been live. All the learner needs to do is refresh their page, and they see the past simple as well. So now they can work in the chapter that I've just opened up for them. So you as a teacher can also decide what material is exposed to your learners, and say if you've completed a chapter, you can also remove it, so everything stays very organized, and they don't have to keep clicking on 10 different emails to find their assignments.
That is really cool. That is really cool. So yeah, so you could essentially just every week when you're creating your lesson or whatever, when you're creating your lesson plan, just make a quick thing, to go along with this, like a quick Q&A for after it or something, so that you could assess them. Or, I mean, it wouldn't even take that long, would it? That's really cool. The only downside about this is you can't use it on OutSchool, which really stinks.
You can't use it?
You can't use it for OutSchool. They won't let you. Yeah.
What do you mean with OutSchool? I'm not familiar with that term.
OutSchool is a marketplace for students, and they market it's think like VIP Kid on a global and any subject matter thing, basically. So they're based out of California, and it's a marketplace for teachers. So teachers can list their classes and
okay.
Yeah.
So you would have to use OutSchool.
But well, I mean, you could use this for private students, or for probably some other platforms. But if you're an OutSchool teacher, you wouldn't be able to use it because they will not allow you to use things that the kids have another log on because they can't monitor it.
Well, I understand the concept of OutSchool.
Yeah. Yes. But for private teachers, this is amazing. For my cool class teachers, this would be amazing. For teachers that maybe this is really cool. This has a lot of potential too, because it's Canva meets Calendly meets Teachable meets this is super cool.
When it comes to OutSchool, for example, one of the schools that we are working with integrated it into their curriculum. So the school decided that, okay, if the teachers are going to do, if they're going to be doing extracurricular activities with the learners, they kind of signed a form and a sheet that nothing is going to be done with the learners' information. So if you're working for an organization, you could potentially ask them to sign this form as well, so that we make sure that all the data is protected from the learners, because we do adhere to European standards of safeguarding. So
yeah, I don't think OutSchool. I mean, you could try that. I don't think that they would go for that, because they are they are so big that they work less on a one-on-one level. They actually have a list, like you can use Nearpod, you can use like they have a list of things that you could use. Yeah,
I mean, we are trying. I mean, Nearpod has definitely gained more recognition, but we have the same user and privacy policy as Nearpod. The thing is, because we're a startup, we haven't been able to have all the assessments and evaluations that the other programs have already gotten. But at a certain point, we are going to get those accreditations as well. So once we get that, then Jumblepad would possibly be able to be used as, as an OutSchool program as well.
Yeah, if I were you, I would try to pitch it. It would be really beneficial. I think the only thing is this: you'd have to have it so students didn't have to have a log on, actually, though. So yeah, that would be like, yeah, I think, because I think that they want everything to. I have to go back and look at their policies, but I'm pretty sure they want everything to be completely accessible, so that the OutSchool staff could like click on it and like see it. Yeah. Like, but this is amazing. It's like for China. Is this site accessible in China? Have you checked that?
I think it is, but you never really know.
yeah, you never know. Well, hold on. Let me see if I can look at it really quick. I'm gonna look at oh, come on. Blah. Okay, hold on. My computer's being funky. Okay. Whatever. Here, on those. I'm gonna check it really quick. So if you go to comparatech.com, you can do it, and it's just jumblepad.com.
Yeah, it's just jumblepad.com.
Jumblepad.com. Are you coming to bother me again? Ooh. Chimneys. Oh, come on. Beijing, Shenzhen, and Mongolia, Heilongjiang province, and Yunnan are all accessible. It is accessible in all of mainland China.
Wow. So, that's wonderful.
Yeah. So they don't need a VPN to use it. That's cool. That is awesome. It might be harder for them. I know that China is not the only marketplace, but I know that that's a question that's going to come up at some point in time. So I wanted to ask it. It might be a little more difficult for students because there's no translate on it, right? I see a translate.
Well, we can have it translated, because we do want to have it translated and that all the didactics are also correct. If you're working in a certain country and you need the translation, you could possibly send us the translation and we will implement it on the system for you.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Yeah. So, because for example, there was a Russian teacher who was interested, and she asked if Jumblepad could be made in Russian, and I told her, well, you would have to fill in the form and change and translate it for us, and then we implement it, and then the learner can also get that language. Because we're a startup, we don't have we respond to our clients' needs, or else you'll be investing in something that might not be useful in the end. So if you want to work with Chinese students or Russian students, you can send us a translation for the text, but only the text inside of the module. So for example, submit, check your assignments, these are the deadlines. There's more of the academic language and not the language on the website itself.
Okay, but like the actual like if they went to this page right here, this would only show in English, right?
This would only show in English or Dutch at the moment.
Okay.
But they can just use Google to translate it, because we've checked that, and most of the time all the language does translate well.
That is really, really, really cool. I like this a lot. Yeah, it's come a long way. When did this start?
So we launched in we launched in March. So we've been actively working on it for about a year now, but we launched it in March last year, and that's also when we got our first client. And then from there on, we've just kept developing the software. And as I said, we're in continuous development because we really do want to provide teachers with the opportunity to create immersive education, but not but easily. That's what we're all focused on, to make things easier for teachers, but at the same time using a very nice and simple to use system.
Do you have a timetable or an idea of when you think the marketplace will be launched?
Well, it will definitely take some time because the engineers have not started building it, but say by next year we will definitely be able to launch our marketplace.
Okay, so you're looking at next year probably,
Yeah.
or definitely. That is really cool. That's really cool too, because if this is something that you could get on, then like you could sell courses that have interaction, that teach something, that teach a skill, but at the same time not have to teach the live classes if you didn't want to.
Yeah.
And that is so cool. This is cool.
I like the word cool.
I'm going to tell you right now, your description does not fully explain how cool this is and like everything that it could do.
Well, then we'll have to work with our CEO team and get that fixed.
Yeah, because it makes it sound more of like Canva, but really this is a place where you can host. You want your necklace back that you forced me to wear this morning while I was still in bed? Yeah, okay. Here, you want to wear it? It's a place where you can create your lesson content, integrate different things, like give students feedback, interact with students. You could host entire lessons, or you could host entire lessons, or you could use it as a supplemental thing. There's like a lot. It's got like a calendar that, where you can see things. And do you get notifications when students send something to you, or do you have to go in there and manually check them?
You would have to go in there to manually check them, but that's very easy to arrange. But I'm not sure you would want that, because I don't want to know when my learners have submitted. I just check the submissions when I need to assess them. But if that's like something that other teachers would want, that could definitely be implemented, because it's really easy. It's just a notification.
Yeah, give me a second. Oh, thank you for the milk. I actually can't stand milk, but yeah. No, I don't like this. You can have it. Ugh. Ugh. I don't like milk. You drink it. I can't stand milk. Get it away from me. All right. I'm sorry about the interruptions.
No problem.
Super bad though.
So because we're kind of trying to get into the kinesthetic education and really make our learners have get a more immersive experience, this is part of the immersive experience that we're introducing, where we're allowing teachers to use 3D models and implement them into the system. Obviously, it might not be as useful for ESOL training. But say if you study, like if you're a biology teacher or a chemistry teacher, you could also use the platform to have your learners really see and visualize the content a bit more easily. And ultimately, we'll create games. We're trying to implement gamification on the system as well. So in version 4, we're going to implement games that could be made, that you create a test, and the test is translated into a game, and the learners would have to come. It might be a bit more fun, because we've noticed that in secondary education, kids love playing games. So imagine you're playing a game, but you're actually taking a test.
Right. And actually, you said that it would be not so much for ESL, but I'm going to disagree with you on that, because any content that you're teaching in any subject matter is also transferable to an ESL course. So like you're looking at this with the body parts and you're doing this, you could do the same thing for students that are learning English as a second language, because anything that they're learning is a core curriculum, like math, science, biology, whatever. It's not just English. ESL is everything, because they don't just need to know how to speak English. They need to know, if these your students, adults or kids, whatever, like they have, use biology for an example. They have an end goal to get a job as go for my daughter. My 11-year-old, she's weird, but she wants to be an orthopedic surgeon. I don't know where that came from, but she wants to be an orthopedic surgeon when she grows up, you know? So like if she wanted to be an orthopedic surgeon in America, but she didn't live in America, she still needs to really have a full grasp on all of that. Like,
Yeah.
and even like she decided to learn Latin instead of French or Spanish because that would help her with her like medical terminology.
Yeah.
So just kind of like, you know, thinking about that, like anything that you're teaching anywhere is like also could be an ESL lesson.
Yeah, but so yeah, okay. Yes, definitely, I agree with you.
Yeah.
And the thing is, once you get, so all the teachers get the same instruction widgets and task widgets. So if you were an English teacher, you know, your version of the platform wouldn't be different from anyone else. So if you did want to use 3D models and virtual reality in your classes, you would also have access to those widgets.
How do you have to make the 3D model somewhere else, or can you make them right now?
So the 3D models, you would have to make them on your own because that's, you know, they've got special software, but we make it very easy for you to upload the most popular, let's go back. So if you've got programs like, I suddenly forget all the names, but here. So if you want to introduce an artificial experience, that's what we call it. We call them axes. Onto the platform, you can use an OBJ or STL or DAE file, and you can use the other programs that you use. But there are also websites that you can use to get free 3D models, and you can just upload them onto the platform.
That is really cool. And that's those file types, I've never dealt with 3D models, but am I correct in assuming that most platforms do not allow that kind of upload or that kind of integration with 3D models? Like that's not something that like a lot of places.
But I don't want to talk about my competitors, but but Nearpod does work with 3D models. So on Nearpod, but you can't upload your own. You just have to choose from their preset animations. But Jumblepad allows you to use your own. And ultimately, we do want to offer teachers. So when we get to the teachers marketplace, there will be an area where you can get access to 3D models, etc., etc., etc.
Okay. All right. So that'd be cool. So, okay. So you would be able to like say you have like a bunch of teachers doing biology, and they could do like pull up like a 3D skeleton.
Yeah.
That is super cool. Wow. Is there anything else that you want to share on this?
There are a lot of things that I want to share, but you'll have to try it out for yourself as well. And keep an eye on our website and make sure that you follow our updates, and maybe even make an account and play around with it, because now it's still free. When we do launch the teachers platform, we will have to make it paid, but not that much. It's more like a yearly subscription. But it won't be much different than Nearpod or anything. But because of the amount of uploads and the amount of clicks, the data will increase rapidly. So in order for us to not have to stop developing, we'll have to create a paid version of the program at a certain point.
What are your plans? Okay, so if a teacher goes in there and they get the free version, they're hosting all, and they have all of their curriculum on there and everything. What are your plans for those teachers? Like, obviously they will not be able to take their stuff off of it because it's all made on here, right? It's not something that would, like, you can't just easily you could, but you'd have to like just type them out again somewhere else, right? But
you could possibly download your data if you're talking about like getting. So if you've designed a whole book, you've designed a curriculum, but now you want to say print it. We don't have the opportunity yet, but we have been asked this question before, and we're looking at ways to organize this in a very easy way. However, because you're using 3D models, you're using multiple choice questions and answers and matching and videos, we don't really know what the user interface will look like yet. So we're still researching that. But ultimately, if you do want to download all your resources, you can get the data from us.
So what are your plans?
More.
Hold on, okay.
I
Excuse me. Okay, what are your plans for when teachers like it's going to be paid? Like, how much notice are you going to give teachers before they're like locked out of their accounts, or like how are you going to work that when you go from it being a free subscription to like a premium subscription, or like is the free version good for like X amount of months? Like how do you have that working?
So the free version right now is free until it no longer is free. But you'll definitely get a notice at least 3 months in advance that you would either have to download all your data or apply for a paid account.
Oh,
and
3 months is a good time frame. That's what I was wondering. Like I just like, you know, like our teacher's gonna like wake up one day and be like, oh my goodness, like I can't get in. But 3 months is a good time. That's what I was wondering. Very cool.
But the thing is the free version is more just hosting and getting your groups online. But if you would want to share and sell your work, then you would have to get the paid version.
Oh, so you'll still have a free
you'll still have a free variant of the program.
Yeah.
But obviously with limited functionalities.
Very cool. I see Brandon popped on here. Brandon, if you have any questions about this, I know that I don't think you really got anything out of it yet, but it's really cool. You should go back and watch the replay because it is something that I was not expecting it to be. So it's really cool. All right. So my little girl is being a punk right now, right? Yeah, she wants more milk. So I'm going to wrap this up. But thank you for coming on here, Jason. Do you want to say goodbye?
No problem. Thank you for having me. Bye-bye. Thank you for having me, Julian, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about Jumblepad. And to everyone watching, you can always just leave a comment or send me a message on Facebook, and I'll try to reply as soon as I can. And
this is awesome.
I hope you'll have a nice day. Check out our website. And create an account.
Yep. All right. Bye. Say bye.
Goodbye, everyone.